With less than 3 weeks until Notre Dame kicks off the 2025 season against the Miami Hurricanes, we're talking breakout stars heading into this campaign. Want to start with mine and hear from y'all, but I'm starting with defensive tackle Jason Onye. Let's talk about him next. Ryan Roberts from A to Z Sports breaking down everything Notre Dame football, folks. With less than 3 weeks until Notre Dame kicks off the 2025 college football season, it's a good time to talk about some breakout stars. Every single year, we see guys that get new opportunity, take a nice giant leap forward as a player and a substantial producer for each team. But also, in Notre Dame land, there's always some guys that kind of come out of nowhere, seemingly. And not necessarily nowhere on this take, but I think that there's been a lack of conversation around senior defensive tackle Jason Onye. And I think for a lot of reason it is we was not with the team the second half of the 2024 season. But people forget, before he was away from the team, he was arguably the most effective defensive tackle on a snap-to-snap basis early on this season. If you remember, Howard Cross and Riley Mills both got off to slower starts in 2024 before Riley Mills really heated up during the middle section of the season. But Jason Onye, the first couple games, was super productive on a snap-to-snap basis, being a very disruptive football player. And based upon everything that I've heard and that has also been reported, just based upon people at practice, sounds like Onye is really taking that next step forward. Don't usually like to predict late career breakouts because typically guys in year 4, year 5 don't take those massive leaps. But I am in on Onye, who is a young man that was, of course, on the tail end of COVID, and that kind of hurt his high school development going into Notre Dame. Was also only about 260 pounds as a freshman, so he has substantially gained a lot more weight. And the thing that really sold me on him this year is I know he was a really good athlete for his position, but he's been a pretty much exclusive 3 technique during his career at about 287 pounds typically the last couple years. Now over 300 pounds, I think there's a lot more alignment versatility. I don't think this is just a 3 technique. I think this is a guy that could also play nose, which is going to allow him to mix and match with different types of players. Whether he is in with a Donovan Heinisch or a Jared Dawson or a Gabriel Rubio, I think that he can be effective in multiple spots. And I guess my big hot take with Jason Onye is I think that the defensive tackles in general this year, the floor is higher than last year. Now, you don't have Howard Cross and Riley Mills, so I think that does kind of pull the ceiling down a little bit as far as being incredibly disruptive and having a real difference maker in that room. But the floor is higher because I look at this room and say, this is one of the deeper defensive tackle rooms that Notre Dame has had in some time. I mean, you're going to start to get down to DT5, DT6, talking about guys like Elijah Hughes or Irma Mukum, who are really talented football players. The fact that you have so many talented players in one room has really made it so that Notre Dame can now throw waves of defensive tackles at you and keep guys fresh, ultimately. But my hot take is that if there's a defensive tackle that takes that next ascension to being an elite player in 2025, I think that is going to be Jason Onye. Put in the chat right now, thoughts on Jason Onye. Also put in, who is your breakout star entering the 2025 college football season for the Fighting Irish? Make sure that like and subscribe on your way out. And as always, go Irish.